Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtedar Khan, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about the rather shocking tweet or social truth social post by President Donald Trump, in which he basically announced that India will have to pay 25% tariffs, 25% tariffs on all exports to the US, and on top of that, he's going to also impose penalties. And the penalties are because India continues to trade with Russia, and India is buying Russian oil. So basically, this is what he has imposed, and you can see from the tweet. This is what he said. Remember, while India is our friend, we have over the years done relatively little business with them because their tariffs are far too high, among the highest in the world, and they have the most strenuous and obnoxious non monetary trade barriers of any country. Also, they have always bought a vast majority of their military equipment from Russia and are Russia's largest buyer of energy, along with China, at a time when everyone wants Russia to stop the killing in Ukraine. All things not good, India will therefore be paying a tariff of 25% plus a penalty for the above, starting on August 1st. Thank you for your attention to this matter, MAGA. So basically, there are two things that he has done. He has said that here is 25% tariffs because you are imposing tariffs on us, and you are having non-tariff barriers, which means that in the negotiations, India refused to open its market, especially the agriculture and dairy products. If India opens that, then India's agriculture and dairy products will suffer. India's farmers will suffer. India's agricultural sector is the biggest employer, and so if agriculture suffers, you will have hundreds of millions of unemployed people and very poor. So India cannot afford to do that, and that is one thing. So India would have had to make concessions in some other sectors. So that is one issue, I think, which has not happened. The second issue is apparently Donald Trump wanted India to make some big announcement that we are going to buy $200 billion of this, or we're going to buy $100 billion of something else. And India apparently did not agree to buy anything significantly from the US. And so that also did not happen. And the third thing is Donald Trump is really, really ticked off with this whole business of buying Russian oil. It's not so much about buying Russian oil. Donald Trump is very upset that India has a trade deficit surplus of $48 billion. And he's saying, so why is India not buying stuff from us? And what can India buy from us that it is already buying? So they look at India's imports and say, oh, wow, India is importing $65 billion worth of oil from Russia. We can also send them oil. Number one. Number two, it also says that India is buying tons and tons of weapons from Russia, and they can buy that from us too. Why aren't they doing that? If they bought oil and weapons from America, there will be no trade deficit. So I think that is the logic that Donald Trump is working upon and saying, why are they attached to Russia? So this is the cost of India's so-called strategic autonomy, that they will have to pay 25% tariffs. I think what Donald Trump has done is very clever. So he has said 25% tariff plus penalty. And that penalty is not clear because in the past he has threatened with 100% tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. So what is that particular tariff going to be? 5%, 10%, or what? Or otherwise, what other kind of penalties is he going to put on India? So right now, India is not negotiating the 25% tariff. What they're negotiating is what are the penalties? Why are you imposing penalties? Then India will have to decide whether it will retaliate or not. That comes later. But first, they will have to figure out what is the penalty issue. So I think. And there's not much time left. It's just 2 days. Today is the 30th of July. These tariffs kick in from 1st of August. July was a huge collection for in terms of tariffs in American history. So the federal government has got lots and lots, billions of dollars in tariffs that they have collected in July, that Donald Trump is feeling very happy. A lot of MAGA people are very happy that billions of dollars are coming into the government coffers. It's a different thing that it's the customers. Everybody who is saying that customers are going to pay this are partially true. But there's also something else that is going to happen. Apparently, Indian exporters are thinking of discounting their prices. So let us say that you are sending something. You're sending me this pen for $100. So now this pen is going to cost $125 plus something. And let's assume that the penalty is just 1%. So it'll be 126% or $126 this pen is going to cost. I'm not going to buy this pen. So what is India going to do? The pen manufacturer might say, oh my God, what should I do with it? Maybe I'll reduce my price. And he will cut his price down, say from $100 to say $90 or $85 or $80. And then suddenly from the pen is not worth 126, now it's worth just 105%. So even though the tariffs are 25%, for the consumer, it may not be this much. The guy who's importing it in India, in the US and selling, he may decide to sacrifice some of his profits in order to sell the pen. So don't assume automatically that the American consumer is going to pay the entire tariffs, number one. And number two, that it is going to basically, yes, it will reduce demand. There is no doubt about it. Because it's not going to be zero. At 25% tariffs on Indian goods, I don't think that the market impact is going to be zero, even if both the exporter from India and the importer in the US decide to absorb some of the additional cost of bringing that product in. So we will see what is going to happen. There are the estimates from economists is that it is going to cost India $30 billion, and India will have to restructure its economy. So far, for the last 3-4 years, India has been just focused on America, America, America. India has been talking tough to China. Just last month onwards, since the Jaishankar's visit for the SCO foreign ministers, so the SCO presidential meeting, heads of state meeting becomes very important. Look, this all talk about India is a superpower, India, this is a multipolar world, is, in my opinion, all bullshit. This is not a multipolar world. If India was a major power, then it could threaten the US with sanctions, it could threaten the US with tariffs. It is not. India reduced tariffs even before Modi came in February on many luxury items, if you remember, including Harley Davidson. So India is not in the same league as the US, whether it comes to economy, whether it comes to military power, etc., etc. So this talk about multipolar world that Dr. Jaishankar keeps saying all the time is absolutely bullshit. So, so if you are in trouble with the US, you run to China. Remember all the nonsense that even in the parliament, Modi was saying, we will go after the terrorists and the sponsors of terrorists. Great. During Operation Sindoor, China was giving weapons to Pakistan. China was giving real live intelligence to Pakistan. What did Jaishankar say when he met Xi Jinping and when he went to Wang Yi in Beijing? Nothing. India pretended as if China played no negative role against India during Operation Sindoor. Go back and read those stuff. So India is trying to now become friendly with China. That is going to cost India. So breaking with the US is going to hurt India by 30 billion in economy if this is not adjusted. And then so India will have to open its markets to China even more. And China will want to export more to India without helping India in manufacturing. So some of the concerns for India, I think where India can improve is, look, it's 25% tariff and it is Russia problem. I think India cannot stop buying Russian weapon because it has committed to it. It will take India 20-30 years to move away from Russia's military. But India can move away from Russia's oil. So India can say, look, we will stop buying oil from Russia. It's 65 billion. We will buy all of that from America. So get rid of the Russia penalties and reduce the tariffs from 25 to 20. That is what, or 15. I would go with that. Cancel the penalties and reduce the tariffs from 25 to 15%, and I will stop buying Russian oil and I'll buy $65 billion worth of energy from the United States. I think that would be the best offer that India can make at the moment without exposing its agriculture, without exposing its dairy products. India has no choice. India cannot open its agricultural products to the US. If it does, India's farmers will suffer. And it's not at all in India's long-term interest to do that. And so India is struck in many, many different ways, because if you notice in the last 2, 3 years, India's manufacturing, all the talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat, etc., is just bullshit. There has been no growth in manufacturing since Manmohan Singh left. Go back and check the data. It is still below 17% of the GDP share. The only thing that has grown is agriculture since COVID, and before that, services. Now, on the services issue, I have only 3 minutes and then I will leave. Uh, on the services issue, which is 55%, uh, IT industry is going to take a big hit. I don't know whether you know, but yesterday TCS canceled 12,000 jobs. And Microsoft in the US canceled 9,000 jobs. A lot of those 9,000 jobs are Indians with H-1B visas. So the service industry is also going to shrink from 55%. I think India is going to take a big hit. Not just India, everywhere in the world, IT industry is going to shrink because AI is going to replace a lot of low level coders and low skill labor. It's going to be automatic on so many other issues. So this was going to be my first shall we say take on this. Tonight I will come back again and talk in more details as it becomes increasingly apparent as to what India's response is to this Donald Trump's statement. I will also try to, until then, do some calculations and tell you what the impact is going to be on India's economy. The preliminary assessment is that it is going to cost India at least $30 billion going forward. So please, if you have not already subscribed to Khanversations, subscribe to Khanversation, like this video, press the bell icon, and don't forget to come back again tonight. I will be going live, and I'll be more than happy to take your questions and comments. And because in another 10 minutes, I will be going on Satya Hindi Live. So please join me there, and there will be other people there too. But let me tell you this much. This is my parting comment to you. Modi first foreign policy meets America first foreign policy. Modi first foreign policy meets America first foreign policy. Take care. Bye. Thank you for watching.